And a very good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this week's episode of Tea and Tops. Jason has decided to join us. He's vanished for a second there. We're off to another fantastically smooth start to tonight's show. But yeah, welcome along to this live episode of Tea and Tops. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock. My name is Graham, joined here as ever by Jason. Jason, how are we doing tonight?
Good. I have the world's most sensitive webcam. So if I breathe wrong, it just goes out automatically. So made it in time. It was already here, but yes, obviously I nudged it just a little bit, sent it off there. So for whoever watches this live or watches it on Spotify live, then I'm here.
Yeah, I heard your grunt of derision as your camera cut out right as the stream started. So yeah, it was pretty well timed. Pretty well timed. But yeah, welcome along to the show tonight. And as you may have seen from the title, this is a landmark episode. This tonight's episode is episode number 50. We've made it to the half century. We'd get a polite round of applause from the crowd if this was a game of cricket. So yeah, 50 episodes, which I think is pretty cool. I've enjoyed the first 50, Jason. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like I said, we started this as just something to kind of just chat about cards and see what it was like out here and kind of talk to the community. And yeah, it's been a blast. Like it never, it was something to do during the pandemic, and it's
exactly, yeah. Look at us now. Yeah, here we still are after 50 glorious episodes. So yeah, if you've been with us from the start, or even if this is just your first experience of listening to the show, we thank you very much. I'll start with the usual spiel again. Not only is this our 50th episode, you don't make it this far without getting some recognition, and we have indeed been nominated in the UK Trading Card Awards for 2023. So we're counting on your votes. We've been nominated in the podcast section. If you head over to our website, teaandtops.com, you'll see all the information there. You'll be able to access the voting form. We would appreciate your clicks very muchly. And if you're in a clicking mood, you can subscribe to us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, follow us on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, click the bell, whatever, all these things that far more organized people who live on social media will be able to tell you do far smoother than I can. But yeah, we appreciate your clicks. If you could vote for us, that'd be fantastic. Voting is open until June the 28th. So I think 4 and a bit weeks, 5 weeks maybe left. And then the award show itself is on the 1st of July in Edinburgh. I'll be there. I might do a little bit of cheeky live streaming if I can. But yeah, I'll be there at the award show. Jason, you'll be in Seattle, is that right?
I'll be in Seattle at that point in time, so that is the first step of the holiday. So I'm looking forward to that. I get it. So we booked tickets in October, so I was that. So, but I did book my first game, my first Mariners game. So I'm pretty excited.
Here we go. Yeah.
So they have the South of France night where they give you a beret and a baguette for Thai France. So I had to book that online.
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. That's the most tenuous way to celebrate South of France night. That's fantastic.
So yes, so I think obviously you're on the third base side, which would be south, I believe, of first base.
Golly, so you get your beret. Do you get a stripy shirt and a string of onions to hang over your neck, or is that taking it too far?
You do get a beret and you get a baguette.
Like a bread baguette or like a fake one you can hit people with?
Baguette, yeah. Okay. I will be wearing my Thai France shirt there. It says "Vive la France." So.
Oh my god, that's actually killed me. That's so funny.
So yeah, wow. So I had to get that before you can get that. Where the other tickets I'll just probably pick up on the day and go see a bunch of stuff there. But yes, I had to pre-book that one. So
South of France night, that's amazing. And you're still planning to taking a trip to Everett, is that right? To see the
Aqua Sox.
Aqua Sox, there we go.
Yep, yeah. Everett Aqua Sox. We've been in touch. We're trying to figure out a day that I can throw out the first pitch. I gave him the dates I was available.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And funny enough, Lisa said she wants to be there to see me actually throw that first pitch. So, which I didn't think she'd be that bothered, but she said actually that's pretty cool. So
that's kind of cool.
So yeah, so doing that, and then was it Tigers, Twins, Blue Jays? So I will potentially pick it up because one of the days I can be there is International Trading Card Day.
Oh, you're there for that's kind of sweet, actually.
So I was talking to
you might get to see the Tops truck, depending on where it is as well.
Oh, that's true. So I didn't know how International Card Day worked, but apparently what they do is they give you like 10 cards, so you can't actually complete the whole set though. You get some doubles in there, and you're supposed to go around trading people.
That makes sense. Yeah, they're trying to make it a bit more collaborative. In hobby stores, which is kind of my own experience of it, you would get a special promotional pack if you made a purchase on. I mean, it used to just be called baseball, International Baseball Card Day, with it being a Tops thing. But I guess with Tops taking over the world, or Fanatics taking over the world, which we'll come on to shortly. Yeah, they've sort of rebranded it just as general trading cards and not specifically baseball. But yeah, that's kind of cool. If they're handing stuff out again, so I'm sure you'll be able to find a local card store you could go and partake in on that illustrious day as well.
Oh no, they do them at the game.
They're doing it at the game. Oh, that's cool. I think again, a few shows ago, I think we touched on this, but one of the things we're starting to see more of is far more and far better interaction between Fanatics, Tops, whatever you want to call them now, and MLB. And we're seeing adverts for trading cards during broadcasts. We had announcers talking about trading cards during broadcasts, and things we hadn't seen previously. So yeah, it's another good way of. And the Tops truck thing is pretty cool as well. That thing tours around and goes to. I'll be going to every stadium throughout the course of the year. You need to give it a wee Google there and see if it's in your area while you happen to be there. It'll be pretty. If not, do you know where it will be? It'll be in Chicago. I guarantee it'll be at the National.
Yes. I was just Googling it right now to see where the Tops trucks is and if it's at the National or not. So
it should be. It should be. It was in Minnesota, I guess, a week ago, 10 days ago, I think. I know that much, but I don't know its full schedule. I've not been following it that closely. But one of the cool things they have at the Tops truck is the trading wall. So the idea being is and they had this at the National, I think last year. I think we spoke about it last year. So basically, a big wall filled with trading cards, and the idea is you bring along a card of your own, you pop it on the wall, you find something you like, and you take that off the wall, and then you have that swap-in sort of trading thing going on all the time. There were stories, unfortunately, it came to the National last year, of people who were taking the piss somewhat and taking away nice cards and leaving like shed long rookies and stuff like that, which nobody wanted.
Raise my hand here. I just bought a shed long card today, even. So
did you buy it? That's amazing. Yeah, that's cool. It was his rookie autograph, right?
A rookie autograph, yeah, for £3, $4.50 including shipping. So
wow, that's a bargain. That's a bargain.
It was worth it for the lows. So.
That is outstanding. Yeah, Stadium Club one as well, man. Stadium Club cards are great. I like that card. That looks really cool. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for the Tops truck.
I will miss it because it's in Seattle, but it's during the All-Star game.
Oh, okay. Are you not there for the All-Star game?
Yeah, I'll be around for that, but yeah, I don't know whether I'll be able to make it down there or not for that. So I'm in the area, but
you're in the area. Okay.
Yeah, it might be a little chaos down there, but we'll see. I'm still trying to see if I can maybe get All-Star game tickets, and I'm gonna see what the break point is and how much I'm willing to spend on them.
Oh, jeez, you're considering. Well, listen, they're probably no more expensive than sitting in the outfield at one of the London games. So
That's true.
There you go. There's some topical satire for you. Well, it's not really that topical.
Yeah. And for the people outside the UK, this is supposed to be a huge event, and even inside the people in the UK, it's not sold out. It's not close to selling out, and I don't think it will even come close to halfway. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, I'm hoping for a little bit more than that. I think if it's that bad, we might not see it again, but. Yeah, when some of your cheapest outfield seats are literally over £100 to go and see Cubs Cardinals, and now no disrespect to the Cubs or the Cardinals, because we went to Chicago and had a fantastic time watching the Cubs, but it's not exactly the marquee Yankees Red Sox matchup that it was from 3 years ago. So yeah, a bit pricey. A lot of people are excited for it, and good on them. maybe we were slightly jaded because we've experienced I don't want to say the real thing by going to games in the States, but we've obviously experienced the thrill of live baseball and the crack of the bat and all that. And if you live down that part of the world, down in London, maybe you're used to paying that kind of money to go to a major sporting event. When you stay further afield, as Jason and I do, like Jason and I would probably have to fly down to London, would need to catch a plane. And there's not very many reasons to take a plane internally in the UK unless you're traveling on business. Yeah, but we would literally need to fly down, get hotels, buy game tickets and all that kind of stuff. And it would literally, for the same money, you could fly to somewhere on the east coast of the US and like go catch some games in Baltimore or in Washington or maybe even New York. I'm sure the Mets don't charge very much because they're terrible.
I mean, I think the cheapest ticket this year was 50 quid, and those were the nosebleeds, and you were spending probably around 150 to get semi-decent seats. And then
I think the 100+ ones I was looking at, they were like field level but outfield, and not like close to the fence or anything, so you can maybe catch something, just a ball, not like a venereal disease. But
no. I will be curious because I said obviously not going this year, but they are opening up batting practices this year, and when they had in 2019, you couldn't actually go anywhere but behind home plate, so you didn't actually have a chance to actually get any of the home run balls there.
Oh God, okay.
Only because the ushers didn't have a clue, and they went, health and safety concerns, and it was kind of like, you guys really don't know how to operate a thing here. But
yeah. Do you think they would have some experience baseball? But whatever, that's good. It's good to see progress. It's good to see some change. It doesn't look like that the home run derby X thing happening again. I haven't seen anything about it if it is, but there's been a lot of grumbling in the UK baseball community about the lack of communication about other things that are going on to support this series. It just seems like, oh yeah, here's some tickets for some games, and they've not really made a big deal about anything else that's happening to support it. Like Home Run Derby X or whatever cringe UK YouTubers are going to be getting involved this year, and they had all that 3 years ago for the Yankees Red Sox series. We've just not seen any of that chatter yet. A lot of the UK community is starting to organise their own things. So if MLB are planning stuff, they're going to miss the boat because the community is just going to go out and order set up their own events and things like that, their own meetups and the places they want to go. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
I can't remember when it is. It's the end of July, right?
I'm looking. It doesn't look like there's anything set up about it right now. So, but I guess what we're forgetting, it was also worldwide. So,
sure.
So there is none this time. So, but yes, there it's like they said, you can't just put a baseball game on. This thing is going to fill itself up.
No, exactly. It's going to need some help.
Yeah, it's really going to do, and you can't reduce ticket prices because people have already paid a ton of money for them there. And like I said, last time you had people traveling all over Europe for it. This time, people aren't that bothered. It was expensive. I mean, I can imagine being like a German baseball fan and going, okay, so I've got to pay £250 for flights, hotels, everything else. There is like, well, I might as well just fly to the States and catch a game.
Yeah. It is a good argument, that one, certainly. But yeah, we'll see. Let's hope we're proved wrong. Questions being asked this week in the community as well about would we see any trading cards to commemorate the event, or would there be any UK releases and stuff like that? So it was fun to get involved in that conversation. No doubt we'll see the usual, like your fan sets, like Jason is showing off if you're watching live. There should be, I imagine there'll be Tops Now as well. There'll be the usual Tops Now cards come out for it. And I don't know if we'll get a UK edition this year. I think we probably should. It wasn't one of the ones that was flagged for getting kicked out of the rotation from the industry summit earlier in the year. So hopefully we'll see UK edition again this year, which, same as always, just the base set with a Union Jack stamped on it. But it's a fun little set, I guess.
But you got to think about it though. This year, you're super short print cards. You have the coronation cards. Like I said,
that's true. Yeah.
In there, there's all those great family photos you can throw in there.
Yeah, we'll get that King Charles card up in there. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. was going to say, is there any sign of your coronation cards yet? But they won't be ready to be shipped yet, will they?
No, I'm assuming soon. It's been almost a month now. It's been 3.5 weeks there, but the print runs are interesting.
Oh yeah, we found it eventually, or you found it, I should say.
I did find it. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick there, but they were under 1,000.
Yeah, it's very surprising, the number. Yeah, I thought it would do significantly better than that. So you have a fantastic chance of hitting the King Charles coronation 1 of 1. Maybe it's you that'll be doing the handstands and the cartwheels in the next few weeks when you get your coronation Tops Now cards through.
Yeah. So is it? So the King is crowned was 932. The procession was 847. The royal balcony was 939, and the king and queen greet their subjects at 859. So, like I said, that's a pretty low print run.
So the balcony card sold more than the king coronation card.
Yep,
by
the
like
royal
4.
balcony. Yep,
that's to me that's really interesting, right? So, like most of the iconic pictures of the royal family, I guess, are taken on that balcony. But for it to outsell the actual coronation card, that's kind of that's surprising. I'm surprised, genuinely surprised by that.
Do you really want a picture of the king, or you want the future king in the family?
But that's the point of all this, though, right? Surely it's the king. You want the picture of the coronation of the king. I get the significance of the balcony picture. I totally do, but surely the whole point is maybe the balcony card will become the one to chase then, rather than the actual king coronation one.
I think any of those cards there are going to do quite well.
Yeah, well, you got a good chance at a parallel with those print runs.
True. No, there was only like a 1-1, a 5, and a 10. I don't think there was anything bigger than that.
1, 5, and 10. Yeah, well, you still got a good chance.
50 or 100. So
no. I think you get one. I don't know which one, but I think you'll get one. There you go. That's just.
Well, fingers crossed. I'm hoping to get it before I go to Seattle, so I can at least find out, because I got my Julio Rodriguez with the Trident card, and I didn't hit anything there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it was like 8,000. Was it?
Jolly good. Well, talking of shiny cards and 1 of 1s and superfractors and goodness knows whatever else, we can begin. We shall segue smoothly into this week's regular scheduled programming. It is that kind of level of award-winning banter you've just enjoyed for the last 18 minutes that did see us nominated for Podcast of the Year. So yeah, go and give us a vote. And now that you've voted, thank you for that. We'll move on to this week's news, and there's a lot of news this week. So there's actually a fair bit to cover. I say this week, the last 2 weeks, I guess, since we were last on here. Probably the biggest update. In fact, I had 3 different things to lead the show with tonight, and I finally settled on this one, which is the fact it's raining superfractors, and we just segued into it beautifully. So on day 27 of the 30-day bounty period that was put out by David Adams, the Drew Jones 1 of 1 superfractor autograph, first Bowman, blah, 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 from 2023 Bowman Baseball was hit by a card store owner. I was going to say in Las Vegas, but that's not that one. It's somewhere else in Ohio, and I can't remember where. But they hit it day 27, so only 3 days left of the bounty period, but it did get pulled. Now, presumably, they've now sold that card to David Adams for $250,000 because that was the one that makes the most financial sense. But yeah, incredible it got pulled and so close to the deadline.
I said I'd completely forgot about it. It was one of those things that I know they were pushing it hard on bunt, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It got found really quickly on bunt. That was the irony.
Yeah, absolutely. So the fact that it was pulled, but then I guess, why not? If you're gonna, I guess Bowman's first Bowman, you want to hold on to those and score a couple boxes there. So, but I guess maybe if you bought a box, you were kind of hemming and hawing about it. I might as well open it up and see what happens.
That's it. And then it's like the old the way I pictured it in my head was like it's like that scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Charlie finds the 50p in the gutter and he's like, okay, just one more.
Exactly.
And they just did the same thing. It was like a slow day in the card shop. Not many customers coming in. There's a box of 23 Bowman just sitting on the shelf, just winking at them. And they're like, come on, let's just open a box. What's the worst that could happen? And then there you go. There it is. I'm having a very quick look on Dave and Adam's Twitter. to see if there's any update on if it got sold or not. I should have done this before the start of the show rather than try to do it live, because now my computer's just going to have a panic attack. So I'm going to stop doing that. So I don't actually know if they decided to sell it or if David Adams tweeted anything out after it was found. I just got caught up in the hysteria of the fact it was found. But yeah, only 27 days in, so just under 4 weeks it took to find and pull that card. Conversely, also pulled just a few days ago, there's the Bo Bichette, his first Bowman 1/1 Superfractor Auto was pulled just this week, and that's a 7-year-old card. So,
Wow.
yeah, there you go. And that's the one that was in Vegas. Dude goes into a shop in Vegas, buys a box of, I can't do the maths that quickly in my head, 2016, I guess, Bowman.
2016, yeah.
Yeah, opens it in his car. The picture the guy tweeted out, I assumed. I took it from Reddit, but yeah, the picture the guy took of the car. He's sitting in the driver's seat of what appears to be a Tesla, and he's just taking a crotch shot of him holding the Bo Bichette 1/1 Superfractor card. So yeah, 7 years that sat in a box. So I guess to pull the Drew Jones Superfractor after only 27 days is actually quite something. So yeah, so congratulations to both those dudes. They are significantly more better off than they were before they opened those boxes.
I mean, what do you think happened? Do you think he won some money in Vegas and was a card collector and was like, you know what? I got like $600 in my pocket. Like, what?
That's a great. I mean, I don't know what a box of 2016 Bowman goes for. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what not even rookies. It's pre-rookies at that point, right? I don't know what the draft class essentially of 2015, 2016 was like. So I don't know how much that box would have run him. It's not a year that sticks in my mind as being particularly potent. But yeah, I guess you go in, you pick a box. I mean, surely you're not walking in thinking, right, I really want to pull the Bo Bichette Superfractor 1/1. Maybe you go into it thinking, well, it'd be cool to get a Bo Bichette first Bowman, or maybe there's some other kids in the class who'd be cool to get like a couple of first Bowmans off. But yeah, that's pretty cool. No indication on what type of box it was. I'm assuming it would have come from a hobby shop. You're not going to get 2016 retail in your local Walmart. So presumably it was a hobby box of Bowman that was pulled, and it wasn't from like a blaster or anything like that.
It was Vegas Dave. He bought it from Vegas Dave.
Vegas Dave. Oh my God, we've not heard that guy's name for a while, have we?
No.
I wonder what he's up to.
Anyways, so if it was, well, okay, the first thing I pulled up was 2016 Bowman Chrome for hobby box on blowout cards goes for $2,500.
Oh damn! Okay, so it must have been fairly potent then. That's quite a lot.
So that's just Chrome. That was just, I said, that was the first thing that came up there. So
yeah. Well, that's quite an investment then. Yeah. Hey, it's Vegas. It's a gambling town, right?
Exactly. No, that's retail. Originally, you could have bought it for $400. That's not gonna do anything good now.
That's it. Everything goes up. Everything goes up. There's quite an interesting. I don't know if David Adams are the only ones who are doing this right now. But on David Adams, if you're buying hobby boxes, and they're even doing it with cases now as well. But you can buy a hobby box, or you can buy what they call a case fresh hobby box, and they do the same thing with cases as well. But they don't call them case fresh. I think they just call it a fresh case. And they're wrapping product now. So they'll wrap it in a David Adams wrap. So it's like guaranteed as like sealed and whatever else. And if you buy a case fresh box, it comes in like a polycarbonate holder, like a baseball holder, but for a box of cards, and then wrapped in their wrap to make sure it's, super secure and whatever. It's like $60 over retail on whatever the box is that you're buying. So you're buying it in that configuration specifically just to sit on, and hopefully it appreciates over time. I thought that was kind of interesting. I had no plans to talk about that tonight, but isn't it funny when things come up when we're discussing things?
There is no set format. There
is no set format. Exactly. We play it fast and loose here. That's why we're award nominated. I'm not going down that road again.
Exactly. We're fast and loose, and you never know what we're talking about.
Yeah, fast and loose, loosey goosey. So yeah, congratulations to the Superfractor pullers. Yeah, well done. One of the things you could do with your Superfractors is you could put them into the PWCC vault, which leads us beautifully into story number 2 tonight. So the other big Fanatics news from the last couple of weeks is that Fanatics have acquired the auction house, I'm going to call them, PWCC. So this was first reported, I believe, on the 22nd of May by Action Network, which is actually a betting information site based in the US, and it came off the back of another story they had taken. So Fanatics also bought out a company called PointsBet as they look to build up their sports betting business in the US. We haven't seen any of this. They've not really made a footprint in the UK yet, but it's better to take on an emerging market in the US than it would be to take on a very mature market in the UK. So it'll be interesting if Fanatics Bet ever makes it to the UK. I suspect it will, but they'll just buy someday. So, because they've more than shown that that's what they're willing to do. But that's an aside. So, yes, they have bought PWCC for an undisclosed sum. So, PWCC, if you're not aware of them, they were an online auction, like consignor, an auction house, a little bit in the same vein as Heritage. They traded exclusively on eBay, however, but they fell foul of the community after a lot of I just dropped my card. After a lot of amateur, I'm not going to call it amateur, a lot of private investigation, shall we say, by passionate members of the community who were convinced that people within PWCC were shill bidding on the auctions to put the prices up and create an overinflated comp system. So if you're selling cards, typically people use eBay sales to compare against to find out the true value of their card, whether they're selling it on eBay or they're selling it in a private transaction. And a lot of investigation was done by the community, and accusations were thrown at PWCC about supposed confirmed shill bidding. It got so bad that eBay got involved, and they actually kicked PWCC off of eBay over it. And I'm not sure if they're back on or not, but they were certainly banned for a while. Action Network reported it as a spat, which I thought was a very loose term, which was some pretty serious allegations of what is essentially fraud, allegedly. I'm going to keep saying allegedly because I don't want to end up in court over this. So that certainly hit their reputation, and it hit their market value as well. There was another cracker. How's this for a business model, right? So one of the things that PWCC had as a unique selling point for a while was it was a vault before everyone jumped on this vault bandwagon. So the idea being you can sign your cards with PWCC and they will put them in a vault, which is basically in the best Bond villain style, a hollowed out volcano in Oregon, and that is not a lie. Or it's a hollowed out mountain in Oregon. So Oregon is one of the 5 states without a statewide sales tax as well, which is why it was very enticing for buyers and sellers. So at the height of the card craze during the pandemic, I'm reading directly from Action Network now. At the height of the card craze, vault members were allowed to take out loans against their vaulted cards, using those cards as collateral, which is something I didn't realize, and in hindsight was a terrible idea. That's one of the reasons that we saw that big explosion, or certainly fueled the fire that was maybe already ongoing in the card market during that time, because people were taking out massive loans against the stuff they had vaulted with PWCC and using that to buy more high end and open more boxes and get more cards at the marketplace. And then, of course, there was the post-COVID crash, and pretty much not everybody. The vast majority of people who had loans secured against their cards, of course, the cards had somewhat dropped in value, went, well, it's fine. You know what? I'll just keep the money that you loan me and you can keep my cards. I'm quite happy with the fact that I've basically paid 80% more than the card, or you paid me 80% more than the card's worth now. Why on earth would I want it back? So that turned out to be a fairly rash business decision as well. They were unfortunately a victim of that circumstance. So I imagine that Fanatics have picked up PWCC for quite the bargain comparatively to how much that would have cost the company. Would have cost to buy like sort of 3 or 4 years ago.
It's funny. I'm just looking up actually where the vault's located. So it's in Tigard, Oregon, and but actually, James from Tigard.
Get out of here, golly! Of course, you went to university in Oregon, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so that's why I was like, oh gosh, I never actually thought to see where the vault is. So yeah, then now I'm like, where in Tigard is it?
Yeah, well, there we go. So at one point, PWCC were doing reportedly $250 million a year through eBay before they had the fallout, and and they got removed from the platform. So yeah, fairly big splash again from Fanatics there, picking them up. So that gives them a foothold in the auction space. So it positions them to take on the likes of Heritage, Golden, those kind of people. Gives them access to the vault thing also as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop that particular avenue over the coming weeks, months, and years. But yeah, yet another purchase for Fanatics. Are we surprised anymore? I don't think so.
What haven't they got their fingers in now?
I know. Yeah, you go through their press releases. Like, there's not actually a press release about this officially come out from Fanatics yet, but yeah, it's kind of crazy to see just how far they're spreading. Like we obviously focus very much on the trading card side of things, but if you're in any way interested in Fanatics about the company, and the more that I do this podcast, and the more I sort of scratch the surface of Fanatics, the company, and just where they're involved, and the kind of stuff they're signing up, it's quite unbelievable. So they're starting to run the Sky Sports online store. They've signed exclusive deals with football teams up and down the leagues in the UK as well. So they've got one announced with Barnsley, another one announced with Millwall. Then they've got an announcement about WWE right next to one with the Cleveland Browns, and then there's the French Rugby Federation, and then they've acquired an Italian sports merchandise business called EPI. I'm not too sure who they are, and then there's an announcement about a deal they've done in Belgium with the Belgian league, and it goes on and on and on. And yeah, it's mad. Like their press release pages, which is just fanatics.com/press-releases. Like, you just have to skim it to see the length and breadth of the stuff that they're involved in. It's quite, I guess as a consumer, it's moderately terrifying. They're just turning into Amazon. They're going to be into everything. They're going to be the single source of truth, I guess, for sports merchandise and sports betting and goodness trading cards and goodness knows whatever else over the coming period. That's for sure.
Because monopolies are really good for people. It really works out in your favor.
Yeah, that's been well proven in the past, hasn't it? Just how great monopolies are for consumerism. So good luck to them. another purchase. So yeah, like I said, we'll see how that transpires over the next little while. What we're moving on to. So new releases. So not too much has come out in the last couple of weeks. We did a fairly healthy preview on Topps Heritage and in our last episode. So feel free to skip back to that to learn a little bit more about Topps Heritage. So it did release on time, which I suppose for Topps is something to be commended these days. So just exactly as we thought it was going to be, or about $95 a box. The usual slew of inserts, and you're more chasing the sets and the short prints and the inserts and that kind of thing with Heritage. I believe the general feeling from community is it's not quite the sort of buzz that this year that it has been in years past. The short prints are harder to hit. The set, I think, is getting bigger, or the inserts are getting shorter. I can't remember, but yeah, it's not as being as universally praised as normally Heritage is. It's not a set I tend to get involved in, because if you open maybe one or two boxes of it, you're still like nowhere near to feeling like you've completed anything, and you're not opening boxes to try and chase the big hit, because you're only guaranteed an autograph or a relic, so it's probably going to be a relic. Let's be honest. The autographs are way more few and far between in Heritage than they are in other products. I guess generally a bit meh this year. 95 a box though, so if you're looking for something to open, you just want to open some packets of cardboard, then it's not a terrible option. It's one of the cheaper products that's available right now. As of time of recording, not yet available on Topps UK. It is of course available from other UK sellers, but nothing from Topps direct themselves yet. On the horizon over the next couple of weeks, so Series 2 is really the big release that's coming out the next couple of weeks. Again, we spoke a little bit about it in the last show. So this is the second part of the 990 card set that will make up the flagship release for 2023. This time card numbers 331 to 660. Again, early rookies. You might find them in this, but mostly it's just rookies that were missed out of Series 1. As I speculated, and once again I got something right. I'm starting to feel like I'm after 50 episodes or 50 shows, 50 lots of investor research for doing the show. I'm finally starting to get a little bit of a feeling like I know what I'm talking about, which is kind of cool. So Series 2 did go on pre-sale on Topps.com, as I speculated it might in the last episode. It wasn't up for very long, but it was available on exclusive pre-order from Topps.com before ahead of its official release, and the release isn't until the 7th of June. So that's a week on Wednesday if you're watching us live, or in 2 days, indeed, if you're listening to the show on release on Monday, the 5th of June. So actually the only next big thing to come out. Still no sign of the Inception announcement that we heard was rumored to be coming. Still no sign of Inception Baseball, so it could well be that these two things are still hand in hand. In general, Inception seems to be gathering pace across some of Topps' other licenses. We've had Bowman U Inception release recently, and just today, Topps UK have been releasing teasers for UCC, which is the UEFA Club Championships. So that covers Champions League, Europa League, I think the Johnson's Paint Trophy. There's a 90s reference for those of you in the UK. Jason will have a flipping clue what I'm talking about. So those competitions, and Topps are doing an Inception version of that. The cards actually look pretty fire. And yes, I just used a 2020 reference to describe them. Excuse me. So they do actually look pretty cool. The UCC ones, I think, are going to be very popular and very collectible. They are pushing on card, so hard signatures, pretty hard on Inception. And for the football landscape, that's moderately rare. Football or soccer, whatever we're going to call it, kind of known, I guess, for sticker autographs. In fact, it's something that seems to be prevalent outside of baseball. Baseball seems to be the sport that really concentrates on the hard signed, the on-card autograph, which I guess is why you see more redemptions in baseball than you do anywhere else, because the guys have to physically sign the cards and then send them back. So actual hard signed cards in Inception this year, and they've trailed some beauties like Haaland and Messi dual autographs and stuff like that. So yeah, there could be some filthy cards to chase in that set. I did not see the release date. Like I say, we're a little bit baseball focused here, so I've not gone through all the posts from Topps UK to find out when it's coming out, but it certainly looks like it's going to be a pretty hot product. Topps UK also restocked some things, and I can't believe that's newsworthy that a shop got in more stock. So that goes to tell you what Topps UK is like. But they actually restocked some stuff. So Topps Chrome Tennis, which we slagged off a bit in the last show, it went out of stock, but it's actually come back into stock now as well, as has the UCC set. So again, that's the UEFA Club Championship set. The hobby boxes had gone out of stock on Topps UK, but they're now back in stock. So Topps are actually restocking product. It's the first time I'd noticed it. Football collectors may well tell me it's happened before, but it was a surprise to me.
Or Jimmy just kicked the box underneath someone's desk, and they went on holiday for a few weeks. And, oh, there's
that's maybe what it is. Yeah,
that's where that box went. Oh, right, okay. Well, we want to put those back on.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, they've moved something in the warehouse, and they found a pallet of product or something. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. So what else have we seen? I told you there was a lot of news this week.
2020, like I said, there's no Project 2020 70 100 to talk about. It's done.
No, you're done, man. You're sitting there chilling. It's like, I'm going to throw it to you for some bunt in a minute because I need to get a drink if nothing else. One last one for new release, and then we maybe will talk about. I've got two things to talk about, and then we'll do bunt. So 2023 Bowman Sapphire, it released in the last week or so via Dutch auction. Now, do you know, Jason, what a Dutch auction is?
I do, but I had to Google that because someone put up Dutch auction, and I said, I've never heard of that before.
Well, there we go. I'm glad it's not just me. I first heard the term. So Panini did this for a little while. I believe they used to do it with their first off the line releases, and they would often release certain ones. Basketball, predominantly, I want to say, but that's just from the dusty parts of my memory. They would release them in this Dutch auction format. Now, quite how it got its name, Dutch auction, I don't know. And every time I say it, I really have to stop myself saying Dutch oven. And for those of you who don't understand or don't know what a Dutch oven is, that would be if you're lying in bed with your partner and you do a nice fart into the bed and then you pull the duvet up over their head. So they are Dutch ovened. So there you go. And I keep wanting to say that instead of Dutch auction, but it's not. It's Dutch auction. So a Dutch auction starts at a high price. So in the case of 2023 Bowman Sapphire, it started at $850 per box. And then the price dropped by $25 every 5 minutes until the product was sold out, but nobody knew how many there was, or it reaches the floor price of $350. So these boxes could have gone for anywhere between $350 and $850, depending on how passionate the market was for it and how quickly they sold out. Would you like to have a stab at the number between $350 and $850 that these boxes went for?
$715.
$375. It almost made it to the floor, and I was quite flabbergasted when I found that out. And I only found that out around about an hour ago when I was doing the research for the show. I was thinking, given the prices that I've seen some breakers breaking them at per box, I had assumed they'd gone for closer to $500 a box. So some breakers were cashing in. But this was what it told me on Tops.com. Like I said, when I was researching the show mere an hour ago, right before the start of the show. So it made it all the way down to $350, which I was quite surprised at. Now, when they first announced it was going to be on this Dutch auction format, again, looking at some of the feedback in the Tops online group, I think it was, which is also the one that had the project cards in. The general feeling was, Tops, what are you doing? Cut this shit out. Nobody's paying that money for it apart from breakers. It's all going to go to breakers, and they're just going to pay whatever they want to pay because they'll make it back by breaking it and they'll price everybody else out the market. So, again, that was that wasn't a hot take. That was just everyone had just assumed that. That was the general consensus at the time. So for once, it's nice to see that the general marketplace was wrong, and those boxes almost reached the floor price, which I didn't think would happen in a month of Sundays. So if you've got some Bowman Sapphire at $375 a box, congratulations.
So I used my friend Google to figure out why I call it a Dutch.
That's from a TikTok. You watch the same TikToker as me.
Yeah, it's Manny someone that does.
Yeah. He does like all the tech tips and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Good on you. That's quality. Yeah.
He's fantastic. I love.
Thanks,
him.
Algorithm, for serving up the same stuff.
I love all the stuff there. I've used many of his tricks to do things there. So shout out to Maddie at TikTok who does all the cool tech tricks there. So Dutch auction is so named because it was used to sell cut flowers in Holland in the enormous flower auctions.
Well, there we go.
So there we go. Nothing to do with the Dutch oven. Just.
I mean, to be fair, it was either going to be tulips or marijuana, right? We just don't know when it comes to the Dutch.
So. But yeah, it was one of those things. Like I had never heard of a Dutch auction before. I heard people complaining about it, and I was like, okay, well, I have to look what this is, and then just went, okay, yeah, that's how it works. But I never actually looked at the reason behind it. So
yeah, generally, I think the marketplace doesn't like it just because it seems a bit egregious. It's like, well, if you're publishing your ceiling price and your floor price, why the hell would we pay anything more than your floor price? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Panini still do it. I don't think they do. So it'll be interesting to see if Tops carry on that format. I think if they'd maybe made it, starting at $850 with the floor at $350, if it had landed somewhere in the middle, they might have stuck with it. But the fact it pretty much hit the floor for what is supposedly one of the hotter releases of the year, then we'll see. We'll see if that carries on. We've seen pre-sales. Pre-sales have continued. Series 2 was not the first product to be pre-sold. Bowman was. So I imagine the pre-sales on Tops.com, those will continue. Whether or not we see Dutch auctions for some of the other online releases carrying on, who knows? I mean, like I say, if the market aren't a fan of it, then Fanatics, I think, will be pretty quick to get rid, but you never know.
But see, this is the thing, though. We're talking about it. It pissed everyone off. We created a buzz about it because, like, we're doing the Dutch auction, and it pissed it. Like I said, so whether they made money or not with it or not, like I said, they created a buzz about it. So.
I mean, I imagine they made money on it. It's pictures of guys on cardboard at the end of the day, but you know, I'm sure there's like I kind of get what they're doing. It looks like they're trying all this stuff to see what sticks, and then sort of like, right, let's do it now while it's still called Topps, because for all we know, by the time they finish gutting Panini and they buy Panini and whatever else, they might, you know, it might end up trading as something else. But like we don't know. Like it could go loads of different ways, obviously. Yeah, so it's like, well, let's try it now and let's see what the marketplace is willing to accept and what it's not, and then what we don't like we'll get rid of. And you know, to be fair to them, they've already started doing that. We've already seen a slew of products get cut. You know, that was announced at the industry summit earlier in the year. So we've seen products get cut, and some of the quite popular products get cut. So yeah, I guess they're trying it out, see what the market says, see what works, what doesn't work, and then they'll, if they feel bad vibes off it, I'm sure they'll be very quick to cut it. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. I mean, we're talking about it, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Any publicity is good publicity. It's good for the product, I suppose. But
yeah, like I said, you know, like we're talking about it. People bought it. You know, they grumbled about it, but then, you know, I mean, like I said, we're kind of in, you know, a bit of depression with everything here. Cards aren't selling that great right now, so why not try a little something different and see if it works? And you know, didn't work. Yeah. Okay, great. Try next.
Twist the marketplace up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, one final bit of Topps.com news, and then we'll move on to Bunt. So something I spotted, which I thought was kind of unique. I've not actually dug too deep to see if what I'm about to say is accurate, but from everything I've been able to find, Topps are now selling Ultra Pro accessories on Topps.com. So that's sleeves, top loaders, binder pages, all that kind of thing. And as far as I could find, but someday I'm happy to be corrected on this. You can at me if you wish. As far as I can see, this is the first time that Topps.com has sold any non-Topps products. So, you know, obviously they sell cards and all the other stuff that they're licensed for, like I Heart Bunnies. My daughter and I opened some I Heart Bunnies spring collection just yesterday because she lost her second tooth and she was very brave. So we opened some I Heart Bunnies, but yeah, I digress. But as far as I could tell, this is the first time that Topps.com has listed any kind of product that you could buy that wasn't manufactured by Topps. So again, just a little bit of the old fanatic starting to sneak in there. It's like, well, what complements trading cards? What do you need with trading cards? Well, you need sleeves, you need top loaders, so you need that kind of thing. So okay, let's just quietly list them on Topps.com and you can just buy them from there. Or of course, essentially you're buying them from Fanatics. So that was an interesting development. It's amazing what I find interesting, isn't it? The fact that you can buy top loaders and sleeves on Topps.com. Nobody else, I'm sure, batted an eyelid, but to me I was like, oh, that's interesting. What's happened here? Got all freaking Pink Panther detective about it.
But I mean, as a partnership, are they the same price as what you can buy them there? I mean,
all fantastic questions that I did not research.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, I mean, it makes sense. All right, yeah, I'm gonna buy a box of cards. I better get some top loaders and get some cases for it just in case I hit anything. Because, like, you know, I've got my supply of 100 kicking about there, and I've used maybe half of them now. But at some point in time, we'll be like, oh god, I've got to go put an order to get more of them. It makes sense for them to actually have a partnership. So.
Yeah, it might get to that stage as well where you're like, all right, okay, so free shipping's like $200 or over, right? I'm hypothesizing. I can't remember what it is on Topps.com, but you might buy a box that's like $180, and so you're like, oh well, shit. Okay, let me get 2 packs of top loaders, a couple of bags of sleeves to get me up to that free shipping. You know, there's a little bit of that comes into it as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Fanatics made no secret of the fact they want to be a one-stop shop for everything to do with trading cards. We know that they've got a breaking platform in development, their own bespoke one, which I believe is going to be called Fanatics Live or something like that. They've bought PWCC, which gives them an ingress into the auction and the vaulting thing. You know, they're starting to sell supplies on Topps.com. They're doing pre-orders. We're seeing these Dutch auctions and interesting and different ways to sell product. You know, it's happening. The revolution, she's a coming.
Like I said, change is sometimes good. Like I still miss Onwards and Flair and Upper Deck. So.
Yeah. Listen, this is Fanatics World now, and we're just living in it. Yeah, right. Let's talk about Bunt because I'm sure regular listeners will agree. I've talked far too much in this first 50 minutes of the show.
I know. I'm gonna have to like start doing some research on news here because
yeah, I know. Golly,
no project cards. I have nothing to talk about. Miss those damn things. But first off, it is Memorial Day weekend when we were doing the show here and back in the States there, and it was 3 years ago today when we had the highest selling Project 2020 card, the Keith Shore, Ken Gifford Jr., and Joshua Vids. We never did figure out if it was Vids or Vides. Nolan Ryan. And yep, that almost sold 100K in cards there. And that was Memorial Day Madness. And that was the end of Project 2020 in a nutshell right there.
There we go. I should have opened the show with Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, exactly.
to you and to our American listeners as well.
Let's be fair. Like 50 shows is more important than Memorial Day, at least for us.
Yeah. Also, it was a bank holiday in the UK, and I didn't get it off, so I'm not correlating it as any kind of holiday. There you go.
Yep, fair enough. I was working today. No, let's be fair. It was an English bank holiday. It was not a Scottish bank holiday.
Well, I see. My wife and I almost had a full-blown argument about this, but yeah, it's fine. we'll save bank holidays for a new podcast. Bovril and bank holidays.
There we go. That's what it is there. Yeah. So no word on they're ever going to bring back Project 100 or do another variation of that. Like I think they need to do a hard look. And if Fanatics takes over everything, I'm sure they probably will bring it back because who knows? But somebody had posted asking, did they sell out all 4,000 cards? And the resounding answer was no. No, they did not. No. So they probably only printed 1,000 of those, and then maybe some sold more or not. So it's a shame. Like I said, I still think the art cards are fun, and maybe they'll make a comeback. But
yeah, we're in a proper depression for that right now because Project 22, which was the soccer one, it's finished as well. It just finished last week.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that until you brought that up. Yeah, so it's done as well. So there's 0 art projects going on at the minute outside of Living Set, obviously, which carries on for baseball, Star Wars, and soccer. So
yes, I can see that one always carried on there. But yeah, I hope, I don't know, maybe they reimagine it. Like I said, I guess we'll find out. Again, for me, Project 2020 was all about taking those 20 cards and reimagining from the artist there. And then giving artists freedom to do what they want wasn't nearly as fun, or I guess the nostalgia wasn't there. So, for some people, well, that will do it for them or not. But yeah,
that's fair.
Who knows? I'll keep my ear to the ground, and who knows? Maybe in Chicago, I can bend someone's ear and find out if there's anything coming up.
That's it. We'll need to track down Lauren and go and say hello.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel I should mention as a slight aside, and on the subject of Living Set, I don't know if your wife would in any way be interested, but there's a Zlatan card in the Living Set this week for football.
No, she's not. But
I didn't know she had a passing interest just because he's probably Sweden's biggest export after IKEA.
Yeah, no, I mentioned that I had bought the Coronation card, so okay. It's for the girls; they might want it later. She's like, yeah, sure.
There you go. Any Zlatan fans, you can get your Living Set card if you're watching live. If you're listening to the show, they'll be long gone. But I think there's like 2 days left or something on the Living Set Zlatan. I might pick one up for the lols actually.
Yeah. Oh, no, they put them. Yeah, we'll see. We'll think about that one.
Anyway, this is not Bunt, which is what we were going to talk about. Yeah.
Anyways, Bunt, 1988 finished. So if you did not collect that set, it was actually a very tough set because you pretty much had to buy the cards there. So you were getting rares in the thousands, low thousands. People were definitely not trading anything to hit on that one because there was only the million cards that came out, and if you didn't get them, you actually had to spend diamonds on there. And I think I spent about 50 for $5 grand on them, on my diamonds in there, so I hit some cards in there. But yeah, tried to trade my way to finish the set as you usually do. Not happening. People trading's gotten worse than usual. And
Jesus, I didn't think it could get any worse after the Bowman debacle.
oh yeah, it's gotten really bad out there, and people just don't want to trade anything. Or I just I luckily we've built up a nice set of people that are willing to trade stuff and don't really mind. But yeah, like any of the people with low card counts have high expectations of what they should expect for what they get back for those cards, and I can't blame him. Like I said, you got to learn your way. Like I said, I think you have to survive a year of bunt, and then you can kind of say, "I know how to trade." That's the only way it works.
That's a good point. Generally, what was the reception like for the redesign? I'm sitting scrolling through the store on my homepage.
That I was touching that. So it went down really badly. No one liked it. So if you haven't been on bunt for a while, what they have done is they put a giant store right below the other store. So
yeah,
if you want to buy cards, you can absolutely do it twice on the homepage. So as someone that works in the UX team, the design is just absolutely terrible.
It reminds me a little bit of Pimp My Ride. Your dog, right. We heard you liked stores, so we put a store in front of your store.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, I don't know. At least the first edition of it that came out, it was just the store, and they had gotten rid of recent cards, and they had gotten rid of what was it? What else is on there? I'm forgetting what they've taken off. But they had.
I think it's just recent cards that's gone, isn't it? Because they've still got they've got the store carousel, which is new, and then they've got the link to the store underneath. Oh, free coins! And then recently collected is now at the bottom, and then events has gone from the homepage.
Yeah, events is they kind of got rid of that there, and they put up their obviously their season 2 international pastime thing up there. So like if you obviously spent the £10 to have your 42 days of bunt on there, you can make sure you can track your access a little bit easier there. So they really kind of put it in there and kind of going, yep, you need to spend money on this app, and you can track how much money you're spending on that, so you can get these cards that we won't tell you the card count on, and I don't know.
Listen to you old cynic.
I mean, I guess as a free-to-play player, it's tough. Like I like bunt. But again, if there's no events going on, I can complete a set on Friday, and I really don't need to check in on it again until next Friday.
Yeah, I've not been on it anywhere near as frequently as I have been. However, on the subject of wanting to spend money in the app, if you're watching live or very close to live, because for the next 7 hours, so there's a 24-hour offer on at the minute, which is actually surprisingly good value. So 400 diamonds, 50k coins, 3 top 100 standard packs, and 3 Series 1 baseball standard packs, and 20 VIP points for the bargain price of £1.99.
There you go.
That's actually not bad.
If you need to spend money, here's your chance.
Yeah. Or if you're a player like me who very occasionally invests a little bit of coinage into it, that's not a bad little deal for £2. So yeah, after the show, that might be £1.99 that comes out of my. I sold a bunch of cards on eBay over the weekend, so I'm feeling flush.
You're feeling flush. You can do that. You can spend the £2 and not feel bad about it there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just drop the change and make it rain and all that.
That's I see Strata was the release on Friday. Is that right?
So we had what was it? Came out. Strata came out, and is it a physical release? Because I don't think it's a very nice card. Like
no, I saw. That's funny you mentioned that. So I got excited when I saw Strata because Strata was a physical release. Now it's not been in bunt since. You might have the actual number. I think it's 2015 or 2016 since it was last in bunt, and in the physical space, I think it's around about the same. Now, in the deep, dark days of COVID and lockdown version 1.0, where we couldn't get new produced cards, like I was buying up any old random stuff and bringing it over to run breaks. And I'm fairly sure we broke more than one box of Strata from like 2012 or something ridiculous just because it was fun. And I remember the cards being quite cool. And when I saw Strata on being the release for bunt, I got kind of excited. And then I think I did the same as you. I opened it, I saw the design and went, well, that sucks. And then I didn't buy any of it.
Pretty much. Like, it's not that exciting. It's a nice picture there. It's the usual kind of stars and rookies kind of thing there. I bought it, so I have the set, get the award. Thank you very much. I was, it's Friday. I want to spend my hour on Bunt and be like, oh, what am I getting there? And then trade for all the Mariners, my super rare and rare cards, and then move on to the next set there. So it's kind of a bad thing with Bunt. The week before, in the name, like I said, nothing really.
Yeah.
It's another set. We're kind of like, yeah, okay, it's fine. It's got the big, lettering down the side, the players, and kind of the diamond background, and I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. But so I think what it is there, they finished up with the Big League Series 2, and now they're probably gearing up for whatever event might be next there. But they need something there. I mean, but it's kind of back to back, two really kind of crappy sets. And if you really want to spend your coins, Bowman's still around, and it's around for a year.
Stop trying to get me to buy Bowman cards.
No, gosh, no. Because all you need to do is actually find enough people to put the rare set together, so you get the coins, and then trade them
that's
back.
True. Yeah. That's
so when you were saying, you can buy it for like $2 there, like they were going for $5-6 at first, and now everyone's going, what? No, these legendaries are going to have counts in the hundreds. Like there's 0 point of owning these cards, so they're absolutely worthless.
Yeah.
So you're seeing that a lot with the Bunt collectors now. Same thing, Lumber had come out, and people were crafting it legendaries there. Of course, they didn't give the numbers in that. Again, those will be in the hundreds. I mean, there's not really. If I'm having a legendary, I want it limited to the most 25.
Yeah. There's no point in having you think they would limit the amount of legendaries more, and just have it instead of. I guess that's the flip side of having these tiers of rareness compared to what we're used to in the physical space with, 1 of 1, 1 of 10, 1 of 5, 1 of 25, 1 of 50, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe the chase is different because, they go through, like you say, if the release on 88 was 1 million packs or whatever, and those 1 million packs have gone, like, okay, so how long does it actually take to get through like 1 million packs of physical cards? It's far easier to sit and rip in the digital space. So I don't suppose you can put the same kind of limits on, but yeah, you're exactly right. If you're hitting iconics and you're hitting legendaries, you don't want 4-figure card counts for those.
No, if they had said, all right, we're gonna do it, and there's gonna be 25 legendaries for each player. There was only 6 players out there. I would have probably spent an hour or two going, do I have a shot at this? And I would have probably sat there and probably thrown some money behind it just to see if I could have done it. I mean, and you would have gotten people doing the same thing. They would have actually absolutely just dropped everything to see if they get one of those legendaries before they're all gone, and then everyone else could craft for an iconic. Would have done the same thing, but as you see, like the first day, everyone's like, yeah, and then by the third day, everyone's like, oh, this is a grind, and the numbers are gonna be too high, and the cards are pretty crap. So that excitement just kind of wears off, and so people are like,
again, we've seen that with a couple of the single card chases that have come out in Bunt recently as well, where they're like, oh yeah, if this card gets pulled by July, and then the card got pulled like 5 hours later. Like, oh, okay, this one's over already.
Yeah, exactly. It's happened that with what was it? MLB debut. So those came out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And all the iconics are gone. So the people spent their diamonds to hit all the iconics from there, and now they're stuck with like 250,000 packs that they can't sell because
they can't shift.
Because there's only a 6-player set. So why would you want to buy? You can buy 20 cards and hopefully get the set and then move on because you're not chasing the rare, super rare, and there's so many people that just chase the legendary cards. Why bother? Like, okay, I'm trying to think what was the set last year. I think it wasn't Heritage, but it was something like that was on for months because no one had hit the legendaries, and they just kind of went, okay, fine.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. I can't remember which one it was, but go back and listen to one of the old shows. Go back to listen to anything from season 2. There you go, and it'll be in there. I can almost guarantee it.
And it just sat there because no one wanted to spend money on the cards and take the odds. I mean, the odds were like 1 in 200 at the legendary, and it was like, well, I can't complete the set. The set's been completed. So there's no award card to chase. I'm literally just opening packs to hope to hit a legendary that was not sold out.
Yeah, you're buying a lottery ticket at that point, are you?
Pretty much. So so it's been an interesting shift on how everything's working in Bunt there. You can still buy position prowess if you need to get those. You haven't done that yet. And plasmas out there, they're kind of motion cards that are all right. So like I said, it feels like May's been a very bleak time for Bunt. There's not been any kind of sets. I mean, I said the 88 set, but it was limited. So
it's got. Have they announced the set for Friday? Do we know what's coming this Friday?
No, it usually comes out.
Be Heritage, right?
Tomorrow or Wednesday. It's the funny thing with that; it never comes out on the same day. Sometimes it comes out on Monday. Sometimes it comes out on Wednesday.
Well, welcome to the world of tops, everybody. Yeah. Are we surprised? Are you not entertained?
Is the intern in today? Is he going to go from the newsletter out?
Like, Jesus, how difficult is it to schedule a post and buffer, for God's sake? It's like
I mean, that's what it is. That's absolutely what they do, because I have the notifications sent for both Instagram and Twitter, and I get the one from Instagram first. I get the one from Twitter seconds after.
It's mad. I know. Yeah. Jeez.
So
I mean, it feels like it has to be. They must be building up to something with Heritage. There's always a Heritage event.
No, there hasn't. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. So, or we tweeted, texted each other about that. So it was Heritage last year. It was
Tribute
the year before, and then it was Triple Threads the year after like that. Yeah. So that's where it could be something different. That's where we're saying Inception would be my best. If we're gonna have the big thing there, then it'd be a great tie-in for that. But otherwise, I don't know what they're gonna be excited to sell us this time. But
I think it'll be it. Well, it might not be an event, but surely we're going to see we've got to see Heritage come out and Bunt. I mean, it only came out. When did it come out? Last Wednesday. Yeah, that would be about right. So last Wednesday it appeared in the physical space. So that's probably too late to get it on for the Friday. But then we've seen tops to this already with Bowman. Like they pretty much lined up the Bowman release and Bunt with the physical release. They pretty much lined up the flagship releases. And it appears they've sort of taken that step back again, and everything's kind of out of sync and out of kilter. You just released an 88 set. And so now we're going to do Heritage, which I wish I'd looked this up. I can't remember what year. Do you remember what year? Is it 84 this year or something for?
No, it's
88.
74.
74. I can't remember.
It's 74. It's
always further back, I guess. Heritage. So they had them like fairly well lined up, and like I said, now it feels like they've slipped again. So, right, if you're gonna make me guess, and I know you're not, but if you're gonna make me guess, then I'm going to say it's Heritage this Friday. But yeah, we'll see if I'm right or not.
I want to say I think Heritage came out last year, and it was a diamond set. Like I said, it was one of those things. It was one of those ones where it was one of the weekly sets, not the Friday set, but like a Tuesday set that came out, and you had to actually put diamonds into it last year. Because again, that was one of those things where I try not to spend any money and kind of go, wow, there's a couple cards I really like. What's that £2 really gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hell, listen, there's worse things to spend £2 on. Let's be honest. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, yeah. Bunt persists, I guess, at this point. Yeah. It's funny. You feel like you're flagging with it a little bit. Like I guess to check in every day and get my free coins and spin my wheel and all that kind of stuff. But I've not actually bought into a release for quite some time. If I have to buy packs to complete a daily mission, I've still got like the splash screen stars. Like I've still got some of those, like the starter packs. I just use those. It's like open 3 packs for 3,000 coins. It's like great. I can open 3 600 coin packs and get 3,000. It's like, all right, that's my profit.
Yeah, I grinded through those during the big league event when you had to buy the 3 packs with the top 100 event. Again, like now there's nothing to go with the top 100 event. I'm not buying any top 100 cards because what's the point?
So what's the point? Exactly. Yeah. So, what's the point? That was a rough go around last year, and what was for me anyway. But
yeah. So and then who knows? Like it's one of those things where again, all of a sudden they went from like rain to fire to snow. And if you hadn't crafted hundreds of those already, it was like, oh, but the rain set doesn't have to be done for like a year. So like, okay, well, who knows how long that's kicking about? So who knows? Like I said, it just feels like a grind. I've been playing Star Wars again, just because there's been some sort of
Interesting. Okay, so I was actually going to mention something about Star Wars because I think, as we've seen in the past, we've seen some features that have come to Bunt have appeared first in some of Topps' other apps. So we first saw the season format appeared in Disney. I've not seen the scroll and store in any of the other ones, but I've not been on Disney for a little while. I was on Star Wars just a couple of days ago, so we've not seen that scroll and store on the home screen appear in any of the other apps. That one appears to be unique to Bunt. Something I spotted in Star Wars the other day, which was actually quite helpful, was if you're going through just doing your not so, I tend to launch the apps. I'll gather my boxes, whether it's a mystery box or whatever the cargo box that they call it in Star Wars. I'll go and spin my wheels or do my lock-ons or whatever they're called. Now in Star Wars, when you're completing those tasks, if you're making progress against an event, you get a little, what I believe in the UX circles is called a toast notification that pops up from the bottom of the app to say that you've progressed against one of your events, and then it pops down again. So it actually does that dynamically as you're sitting opening packs. So you're making progress against this event. That would be a nice feature to see pulled through in a Bunt.
Absolutely. I that was what the new event that had come out with Star Wars. So I was like, oh, that's actually really nice. That's really handy, because if I have to open 20 packs, I don't want to have to sit there and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
You do the same as me. You're taking your shoes and socks off to get to 20.
Exactly. and oh, I put my 20 packs. Great. I can move on to the next event there. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that in Star Wars. And
yeah. Ask you, I didn't actually realize I didn't remember you did the Star. Well, I knew you did the Star Wars one, but I didn't know if you were still active in it or not. But yeah, I'm glad you noticed that as well. I thought that was quite a nice quality of life improvement they brought into Star Wars. So it'd be good to see that make its way to Bunt.
Well, let's be fair. I was pretty burnt out from doing the whole monument thing. So yes, yeah, no, it's all the Return of the Jedi stuff, which makes me feel super old because it's been out for 40 years now. And
oh yeah.
That's just like, wow, I can't believe that it's been 40 years, but it's been cool cards.
I'm young enough when I don't remember it. But I don't remember. I mean, I'm only 42, so I would only be. I say only 42. I'm fucking 42. Yeah, so I don't remember. I don't remember it come out the first time round, obviously. But
yeah, no, yeah, I was 7, and I got Boba Fett ship. I can't even know what it's called right now. Slave 1. We had Slave 1 for a birthday present.
Wow, okay.
It was like that was the bomb. And
if you
further back, so but yeah, it's been, like I said, I only collect Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian stuff.
Okay.
So whenever they have something like that, I happily throw like 1 million coins at it to go, yes, nostalgia. And then
yeah, I think the last set I went heavy on Star Wars was the one with the Ewoks in it.
Oh right, okay.
It's like yes, but like the animated Ewok show, and I can't even remember what the show was called. But yeah, I remember that from being proper small, and I was like, oh yes, that's a real flashback.
Yeah, I mean,
so if it was 7, if you were 7 when it came out, then I guess Ross must have been like 21 or something. That's a test to see if he listens to the show.
We won't say anything to see if he figures
I love you, big guy. There you go.
You're still getting busted for
that. He doesn't listen. Hey, maybe he does. Dear. Yeah, so I'm glad you noticed that. I've not seen any other changes in the other apps. Like I said, I've not done the Topps Kick for a while, and I got rid of the wrestling one as well because they were crap. But yeah, nothing really new in Disney. And like I say, that pretty cool progress against event notification that pops up in Star Wars is pretty nice. It'd be nice to see that make its way to Bunt. It's actually really cool you noticed that too.
Yeah, no, I hope they bring it in. I think they could do a lot of things to make the app fun. I think they could probably space out things better to get more gameplay on events, because again, I just gravitate to there's events here, great, I will open packs and I will progress. Whereas if there's nothing going on, I'm like, okay, it's Friday, I've spent my hour opening packs and I've traded for all my Mariner cards, and I'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, you think they would move events up a little bit, because partaking or taking part in an event encourages you to open more packs. You know, because it's like open 20 packs to get to the next level. You go, yeah, okay, and you just go and find something and open 20 packs.
Yep.
But if I opened the app and I wasn't taking part in an event, I wouldn't just open the app, like I say, get my mystery boxes, spin my wheel, get my coins, and then I wouldn't go, all right, I better go and open 20 packs. You know, so yeah, you think it would encourage people to do more. So it encourages me to do more, but hey, whatever. I don't work in UX, so what do I know? What do I know?
Exactly,
I don't know shit about shit.
So yes, so I mean, who knows? Maybe in Chicago we can find some Bunt stuff. I mean, I'm hoping there'll be some Bunt exclusive stuff at the National, and we can somehow acquire that.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah.
So, or at least, like I said, the whole point of that is to network and meet as many people as we can, and grow our connections, and then start actually bringing some cool interviews back.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, talking of things that were exclusive, to round out the show and to put a bow around something we spoke around a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, last show we spoke a little bit about Topps and the way that they were going to be handling the release of what they called highly anticipated products, or products that they thought were going to be very popular. Now, this is something that we'd seen in the NFT space, I guess done the best by by NBA Top Shot, who were the first ones to kind of do it, where you were basically be put into a waiting room, you had to join a queue, and then you would get a fair shot at getting like a new release that came out. One of the big hits on Topps, especially in the UK, around the soccer releases, was not only the fact that they seemed to carry barely any stock, but they would lose out to bots and goodness knows whatever else. So in an attempt to curb this, Topps teamed up with a platform called EQL, or Equal, I suppose it's probably pronounced, to handle their popular product launches. And we saw the first one of them on the 23rd, so just about a week ago. So the Topps X Jack Grealish set was the first one that went through this EQL platform. So rather than being launched on topps.com/UK or whatever the UK website is, it went through launchesuk.topps.com, which is like the portal that took you into EQL. So yeah, you basically had to create a new account. You can't use 10% off new customer discount code. And you basically completed the sale without being guaranteed the product. And then at the end of the registration period, which was actually only open for like a couple of hours, they basically ran it like a raffle. And if you were lucky enough to get your for your order to be picked, then you got your cards. And then repeatedly, if your order didn't get picked, you stand a better chance in the next launch that comes out on that platform. By all accounts, the launches went really well. People certainly got their cards, because within hours they were getting, so the boxes retailed at £100 on launch, and they were getting sold in various groups for about 160 within a few hours of people getting confirmed orders. And I believe they were going for more than that on eBay, which is kind of mad. But certainly plenty of complaints about people who were just scalping the packs straight away, but not very many complaints that I could see over the process. It seemed to go over very well with the community. There was no hitches, no hiccups, no problems. Everything seemed to go quite smoothly. So as far as Topps are concerned, that appears to have gone very well for them. So we will see what the next launch is that goes through EQL or Equal. I guess I'll keep calling it EQL because then it makes it easier for people to find if they decide to go and look it up. Like I say, with the amount of trailers, if that's the right way of putting it, that Topps have been doing just in this past day for Inception UCC, I wouldn't be surprised if they launched that through EQL, because they're certainly trying to generate a lot of buzz around that product. So we will see if that goes live in the next few days, and we'll keep an eye on that as more stuff gets launched through it. But the initial signs were it all went very well.
Well, that's good. Like I said, that should hopefully stop flipping. But I'm sure somebody will just figure out how to get around it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I don't think it completely gets rid of bots. Like, somebody will figure out how to bot it soon. But it certainly lessens the chances, I guess. And like I said, the good thing about not getting it the first time is you potentially stand a better chance of getting access to future releases. So I guess it depends how much you really, really want them. I didn't go I went through the process as far as getting to the checkout page, but then I didn't complete because I wasn't really too fussed about getting these Grealish boxes, knowing full well even still that I probably could have gone on and just flipped them and I'd have been quite happy. But yeah, didn't bother going through the full process, but certainly everything up until the point of checkout was super easy, easy to follow. Like I say, just create an account, put in some payment card details, and away you go. I think you can even PayPal it. It was that easy. So yeah, I guess a little miniature doff of the cap to Topps for doing something good. We're talking enough shit about them on this show, so I suppose we should give them some credit when something they release actually goes quite well. I suppose what's kind of notable about this is that this is getting done on Topps UK, and this appears to be the pilot site for it. It's not being done on Topps.com, or it's not being done, anywhere else. It's Topps UK that's using this platform first, rather than big old Topps.com. So yeah, it's quite nice, quite interesting, quite good to see.
I'm guessing that they'll probably test it here and then move to the US to make sure it's working.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I mean, print runs on baseball and stuff so big that I don't think they quite have that problem where stuff just sells out like instantly. Like the last thing I'm trying to think of, like a Topps X release that sold out. I mean, I guess Lauren's one went quite quick, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like whenever I think of issues buying product direct from Topps, my mind always goes to Topps UK. It doesn't go to Topps.com. They always seem to have enough stock on Topps.com. I mean, we've seen baseball stuff sell out really quick, but then, of course, 3 or 4 shows ago, we spoke about the fact that baseball seems to be the only one that isn't selling out in Topps UK right now. I mean, if they can sell out cases of a terrible tennis product and there's still Topps Series 1 available from this year, then in baseball, then I guess that tells its own story. But yeah, like I say, it's nice to see a release going well. I mean, goodness knows they stuffed up NFTs twice on 2 different platforms. So for them to seemingly actually find a happy place and use a platform that's proven, like I say, if it's good enough for Crocs, it's good enough for Topps, right? So yeah, good on them. It's like I say, it seemed to go pretty well. It seemed to go over quite well in the community. Obviously, the people who missed out were annoyed that they missed out, but they probably would have missed out having to deal with the bots and stuff anyway. So I'm sure they'll be happy once they do pick up something further down the line.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking through Lauren Taylor's Instagram feed trying to see if she said she's coming to the National or not, but there is nothing.
Oh, it has to be, surely.
Yeah, so
she's the reigning sports artist of the year. The real question is, what stand she's going to be on? Like, I wish I hadn't started this conversation because I can't remember where she was last year.
But that's a conversation for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think it was it Beckett or someone she was with last year? I can't remember, but something like that, I think. Yeah, I guess we should start to putting some actual prep into this damn show and start looking forward to the National, and because it is a matter of 4 or 5 weeks away. So
no, the National is not for another.
Oh no, July. Sorry, 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. We got 7 weeks to go. Not
you know what? As soon as I said it out loud, I was like, "Well, that's wrong, you moron." But I think my brain couldn't react quick enough to correct myself. So yeah, 2 months from now. So I guess 8 or 9 weeks away is the National. And the flight prices are still ridiculous. But I'm still looking. Look at this. We got Coach Clark on YouTube. There we go. Congratulations on 50 shows. Look at us, right? Yeah. Who'd have thought?
We got roughly 9 weeks to the National, so we got plenty of time. So
plenty of time. I'll swim there if I have to.
Yes, yeah, we're going. All right, I'm going for sure. You're going to sort out your flights, and you'll be going for sure. And then and then we will take the National by storm. And
we shall. Otani is paying my way. Or paying our way, technically.
Paying our way, yes, exactly.
Paying our way, yeah.
But yes,
I remember I put it in my suitcase.
I'll bring that Shed Long card to start and see what.
No! That could be the starting point for your trade up thing, right? Oh no, you're going.
No, that could be the key short Griffey. Yeah. I think that's just kind of. I guess if anything made our name, in the community was the damn print runs.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, we were pretty sharp on that information. So
Yeah.
it's very serendipitous to use that as the jumping off point for that little project.
So, but yes, we'll see. So yeah, looking forward to it. Like I said, just the fact, and we know some of the artists, or we're going to be introduced to a lot of the artists when we're there. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, shaking hands and kissing babies, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Fantastic. Wow, show number 50 has turned into somewhat of a feature-length episode. So there we go. But it was worth it. An awful lot of news in the last 2 weeks. Here's some things that we haven't covered, which we can talk about next week, or next show. Sorry, 2 weeks time, if we're struggling. So we haven't spoken about poor Panini, but I'm kind of hoping that story develops a little bit more. With the one-of-ones that have mysteriously not been sent to the people who redeemed them and have been turning up on eBay and other selling platforms. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about the Grail chase, which is actually quite interesting. And we've also found out some information about some of the non-baseball people who'd be appearing in Allen and Ginter this year, and that's actually quite interesting too. And we haven't had time to cover any of that stuff,
right?
So we can save that for future weeks.
There we go. Yes, we'll use that for next 2 weeks, like that. We'll say, "Bunk shit. Here's Gramps News."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just another show filled with my news. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this feature-length episode, episode 50 of Tea and Talks. We didn't set out for it to intentionally be this long, but hey, look what happened. That's what happens when you sit and talk nonsense for the first 20 minutes of your show every week. So yeah, this episode will be available as a podcast from Monday, the 5th of June, 2023. If you're listening to us on Spotify, you can give us that 5-star review and say congratulations on reaching 50 shows. And we will be back for our next scheduled live episode on Monday, the 12th of May. I happen to be traveling for business on that weekend. However, I should be available for the show. So yeah, we should be back live as always, Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and goodness knows wherever else on Monday, the 12th of May. Until then, Jason, thanks again for joining us this week.
Good to see everyone. Can't wait to chat to you guys in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully we'll have some more exciting news.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. That would be kind of awesome. But yeah, until then, thanks again, everybody. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.